Hey folks, I'm JC from One Shot Adventures, and as many of you know, in addition to this YouTube channel, I run a website that offers over 30 free professional quality adventures in all kinds of genres, including fantasy and horror, science fiction, cyberpunk, ancient Greece, and even crazy setups like dinosaurs attacking the Alamo. And all of these adventures are written for multiple game systems. So you'll often see a Call of Cthulhu version sitting right next to a Shadow Dark or Savage Worlds version of the same adventure. I just love giving GMs what they need to run adventures for their friends in the system of their choice. But one thing all of these adventures have in common is that I always include a GURPS version. GURPS was one of the very first RPGs to really try to offer groups one system for every possible genre. It's not as popular today as it was back in the day, but it is still well supported, high quality, and it's very special to me as it was one of the first non-D&D systems I really fell in love with way back in the 1980s with the second edition of GURPS. And while it still has warts and issues and can lean a little too much towards complexity, I love that it really does let me build RPG adventures for my players in almost any genre, and they never have to learn new rules. I love that I can sit down at a convention and teach GURPS to people in just a few minutes, because once you have a working character sheet in front of you, most of the rules are just right there. But the latest version of GURPS, GURPS 4th edition, is old. In a world where RPGs get new editions every 5 to 10 years, GURPS hasn't gotten one in over 20 years. And so a year or two I made a video called Why GURPS Needs a 5th Edition. And boy, that comment section was lively, with some people agreeing with me and others arguing that I just don't get it because who cares about new editions or GURPS is perfect or whatever. But at long last, Steve Jackson Games has announced a brand new revision of GURPS. That's right, coming out sometime in the next year is GURPS 4th edition revised. It's not a new edition, it's just a little revision. But what does this mean? Now, those of you who remember GURPS 3rd edition will remember that it too got a revised version. A little art and layout changes, a new cover, some fixes here and there, and about 20 pages of new and updated rules stuck in the back of the book so newer supplements didn't have to keep reprinting the same stuff again and again. That was 3rd edition. And so GURPS 4th edition revised is following a very similar path. Now, we don't know everything about this new revision of GURPS, but here's what we do know. First, 4th edition, can I call it that? No, I'm not gonna call it that. Well, it's going to be a single volume, not 2 books, and it's getting a brand new modern layout, but one that will still preserve the page numbers between the editions of the game. They must have some really good InDesign wizards at Steve Jackson Games to pull this off, but I'm all for it. I think the 3-column layout in the current 4th edition is pretty tough to read. I vastly prefer 2-column layout, and obviously keeping page references still valid is awesome, given how many supplements GURPS has. And thank God they mentioned new art, although it sounds like the art is pulled from more recent GURPS products, so probably not brand new art, but hey, I'll take it. It's gotta be an upgrade from what we have today. But yes, thank you. New art, new layout. This is one of my biggest requests in my 5th edition forecast a year or so ago. And interestingly, they are removing some of the random pull quotes to replace with boxes with little rule summaries and suggestions. This is great. I think the old pull quotes with quotes from movies or TV shows were left over from 1990s RPG design. Vampire the Masquerade, I'm looking at you, so fine, goodbye. Maybe getting rid of these will allow a few new options to sneak in here and there. That's what I'm hoping anyway. Next, we'll get some modernization of language in this edition. I'm all for this. Language has changed over the last 20 years, whether you like it or not, so there will be more sensitivity here in the writing, which if you've read things like GURPS Girl Genius, you've seen this all before. It's not new. Sean Punch, the line editor of GURPS, has mentioned examples like renaming the slave mentality disadvantage, probably calling it something like subservience or something that doesn't imply slaves have a mentality that keeps them slaves. Appearance and social stigma, I hope to also see updates to, along with lusciousness. This doesn't impact the game in any way, but it does make the game more approachable to more people, which is good. And next, we'll have some rules tweaks, it seems, but these will be more minor things, little fixes that can change without disrupting a ton of what's been written in other GURPS supplements. For example, I'm betting the slam rules change, using the simpler ones from Dungeon Fantasy. But Steve Jackson Games has said that the point costs for advantages and disadvantages in skills will be very unlikely to change, as that could have a bigger impact on the game. For example, lots of people, including myself, think that affliction, the advantage that afflicts conditions on people, is overpriced. But Sean Punch said it's just too big of a change to make in a revision versus a new edition. At the end of the video, I'll throw together my modest wish list of things I'd still like to see change, but see if you agree. And then we're going to get 27 pages of new material pulled from the best GURPS supplements and articles over the last 20 years. I have no idea what these will be. 27 pages is actually a lot by GURPS standards, and if I'm a betting man, I believe we'll get the rules and options that we've seen repeat themselves in a few different supplements. For example, the chase rules have appeared in a few places already, and they're useful for so many genres. Range bands, another favorite option of mine, which simplifies to hit modifiers more in line with modern RPGs, has appeared in GURPS Action and Monster Hunters, and so I bet will be included here. There's also some great stuff in social engineering that I'd like to see, and creating templates should probably get some more space here given how common they are throughout all of the GURPS supplements. And that's all the information we know. At least as of today, more news is coming out every day on this. So what do I think? Well, I'd still love to see an honest-to-goodness 5th edition for GURPS, or even the theoretical GURPS medium that Sean Punch has said he'd love to do, a product that lives between the 16-page GURPS Lite and the 500-plus page basic set. But I'm very happy with this announcement. Backwards compatibility is important to old fans. Certainly, I'm happy I don't have to revise 30-plus adventures. And the changes sound like they'll make the game more approachable to new players, which is great because growing games have the most vibrant communities, and community is one reason we all love RPGs. So yes, I'm a fan, and I think while modest, it's great to see GURPS getting a big new product. And the fact that it's coming fairly soon, likely 2026, that's just amazing. Now, if you're interested to know which modest tweaks I'd like to see in the revision, come join me in the One Shot Adventures Research Library. Okay, so this part will only really make sense if you're a GURPS fan, because I'll rattle off things fairly fast, but here are my ground rules. These suggestions are mostly minor tweaks and won't really break the system or contradict a lot of other supplements. I'm not gonna venture into any new stuff territory, but here we go, my top 10 very modest suggestions in no particular order. Number 1, throw some modern weapons in the weapons table in the back. Get rid of some of those 20-year-old guns and replace them with newer models. Ditto with body armor. I mean, even GURPS High-Tech is 20 years old now, so a few new weapons will be appreciated by fans. Number 2, make digital and 3D art a specialty of the artist skill. Also, please find a good spot for video editing. It's under electronics operation, which makes no sense anymore. Lots of modern RPGs have social media influencers or artists as characters, as it's a great concept to include. So make it clear what skills they're gonna need to use to create content, because I cannot figure it out. Oh, and similarly, current affairs should have a digital media specialty. You gotta know what's trending and what the latest memes are. And I could even argue public speaking should mention streaming in some way. Anyway, these are all little things that would modernize the game for newer audiences. And while I'm talking about skills, number 3, please make it clear whether the search skill is for searching rooms, or is it just for searching people and bags, like the description says in the current 4th edition? Let us know. 4, fix one word, please, in the common sense advantage. which I argue nobody ever takes. Right now it says for 10 character points, anytime you start to do something the GM feels is stupid, he will roll against your IQ. Change stupid to ill-advised or unwise. Because I attack the dragon with my knife, well, you'll have everybody screaming at the table that that's stupid. You will never, I guarantee, never need the GM to tell you something is stupid in an RPG table. But I call the orc chieftain a coward, and then I leave the room angrily. Well, then the GM tells you, whoa, hold on, that is a great insult among orcs. Are you sure you want to do that? Well, now that's worth paying for. So one word, Sean, punch, one word, and this advantage will be taken by players again. 5, fix that chimpanzees and gorillas have the bad grip disadvantage. They don't. They're apes. They swing from trees because they have amazing grip. It should probably be ham-fisted instead. I don't know why this one bothers me so much, but come on, let's treat our ape buddies right in this new version. Number 6, I would love to see you guys just tweak the hiking rules so that people aren't assumed to be able to walk 50 miles a day or more on average. It just never made sense to me. The forums are filled with people asking questions about this. And I think there are so few books referencing this rule that tweaking it wouldn't be too crazy. Number 7, please mark acrobatic dodge as a cinematic thing. It just doesn't make sense to me that someone can realistically dodge sword swings by cartwheeling out of the way, especially in GURPS, which prides itself in being a realistic system. If that happened, we'd see that at martial arts tournaments and boxing. It just doesn't happen, or make it cost a fatigue point. Acrobatic dodge mixed with the retreat bonus just makes some character concepts real slogs to fight. I don't think calling it cinematic breaks backwards compatibility at all. Number 8, unify offhand weapon training. The basic set says that it's a technique. Martial arts says that it's a 1-point perk. It's a better rule. Just fix that one so we just have one rule for it. Number 9, update the computer operation skill for today's modern world. I should mention smartphones. Does it include search engine usage, or is that the research skill? Mention that too. And computer operations should not include video game playing, which belongs under the game skill. Trust me, the ability to configure my Wi-Fi is not the same skill I use to play Skyrim. Really. It drives me a little crazy that in a game where mathematics has 5 different skill specialties, computer operation has none. But let's just tweak it a little bit so that people playing modern genres know how to use it. And finally, number 10, redo the character sheet too. While 4th edition had a character sheet that hasn't aged all that bad, a fresh new version will go a long way to showing off people that this is a new, fresh, modern game. Use some gradients, thicken up the lines, throw on a new logo, we'll all be happier. Well, that's it. My top 10 modest tweaks I would love to see in GURPS 4th edition revised. Let me know what yours are in the comments below. Let's let Sean Punch and Steve Jackson Games see what we think here. Until next time, I'm JC, and just remember, gorillas have really great grip. They're not gonna just let you go when they got you.